cameras.
Make it a double.
All on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half a Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only at one per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Welcome back to Total Wine. What brings you in today?
Hey, Ruthie. I need help filling the ultimate beach cooler.
Well, we have the most hard seltzers and amazing canned cocktails anywhere, like High Noon, Cutwater, White Claw, Truly, Topo Chico, Jack Daniels and Coke, Neutral Vodka Seltzer, and Cayman Jack Zero Sugar Margarita in cans.
Wow. I'm going to be the king of the cooler.
And we have them at the lowest prices in town. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Listen.
You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the Mcfarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Hey, good Tuesday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. Darren and Justin here with you.
Yes, sir.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studios. 2 hours. SEC Media Days 2. Auburn. Georgia. Mississippi State. And Vanderbilt. All taking part in today's action. Of course, Hugh Freeze, Kirby Smart, Zach Arnett. If people don't know, that's Mississippi State's new head coach with the unfortunate passing of Mike Leach.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt's Clark Lee, who got a contract extension. And remember, Vanderbilt is a private school. And yesterday we were trying to figure out, well, what was his deal close to being up? No, the extra 3 years takes him to 2029.
Yeah.
Which means his deal was up in 2026.
Yeah. So they locked him down for the rest of the decade.
Again, it's their business.
It is.
It's all the school's business, but it's also our business, and it's my business, because this is what we do, is to give our opinions, to question it, and I just don't understand it. I never have. It's not a Vanderbilt thing. I did the same thing when Tennessee did it with Jeremy Pruitt. I did the same thing when Tennessee did it with Butch Jones. I've done the same thing with other contract extensions. I question Barry Trotz, who I love and adore, and absolutely pro Barry Trotz, how he handled John Hines. I question that because I didn't think it was done very well. And I get it. It's the first time at the post of general manager, but that's what we do. We're going to keep it real on this show and give our opinions. That's what we're paid to do. And I don't understand it. He signed through 2026. They went 5-7 last year, and that warrants 3 more years through 2029. I mean, I don't get it. But again, that's what they want to do. But was anybody coming after him that we know about? I mean, I don't know. Did I miss something where he was a hot commodity and there were 4 schools inquiring about his services? No. Let's be honest. No, there weren't. So what's the need? What's the point?
I mean, Darren, since we've been here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, since we've been here, which is 98, really, yes. You got here in 98. I started covering for the Tribune in 98. So roughly, that sometime during 98, there's only been one Vanderbilt football coach to leave the program and go coach somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
One.
On his own.
Yeah.
No,
not even on his own. Like, to leave the program and go be the head coach of another program, whether they were fired or whether they left. Like, as far as I know, none of the coaches here at Vandy ever had a head coaching job ever again after they left this program, except for James Franklin. Mm-hmm. He was it. The other ones either retired or they just never got another job. And I could be mistaken on that, but that's my recollection.
Derek Mason got defensive coordinator jobs.
No, that's not what I mean. Another head coaching job.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what you're asking. You're saying left to get another head coaching job. Well, when we both started covering them, it would have been Woody Woodenhofer.
Yeah.
In 98.
Yeah.
We know Bobby Johnson didn't. He never coached again.
No.
Who else am I missing?
Then Derek Mason was after Johnson, was he not? No, we had the 1
Mason
year
was
of
after
the
Franklin.
Mason was after Franklin. We had the interim year with was it Caldwell, Coach Caldwell?
Yes, Robbie Caldwell.
Robbie Caldwell had the interim year, and then you're right. Then it was James Franklin. Then it became Derek Mason. You're right. Had him inverted. Yeah, but yeah, none of them. Only Coach Franklin went somewhere and coached again, and left the program for a much bigger job.
Yeah.
But the thought that someone could be coming after Clark Lee, I'm just saying the history of the program doesn't suggest that.
No. Well, the 2 years. I mean, he hasn't done. I mean, James Franklin did what nobody's done.
True.
Back-to-back 9-win seasons.
True. At Vanderbilt. No one had done that. So, again, it's their business, but I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make. And if Candace Lee was right here, I would ask her why. Why? Why did you feel the need to tack on 3 more years to a contract that wasn't up till 2026? Why? Let me ask you this: did they just want to give him a raise? Is that what this is about?
I don't know.
Did they just want to give him a raise? And the only way to give him a raise is to extend the contract. It could have been that simple.
I mean, I think he's the right guy. It's clear that he loves the program. He understands the program. But we don't know. I mean, if he keeps winning 3 and 4 games a year or 5 and 7, is that good enough for them to keep him to 2029? I don't know. Half the time I don't know what Vanderbilt standards are. I don't know if they really care or they don't care. I don't know.
It would seem that they are satisfied with him for the long haul here.
Look, I asked for Clark Lee yesterday morning to come on this show. Still haven't gotten an answer. I'm like, okay, if you don't care about your coach, I get it. It's SEC Media Days, and today he can do the radio row, and I get it. He did it yesterday. But if you're good, you don't need any more coverage, then okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Sure. Things I haven't heard since 1998, since I've been here. No, seriously, we've had enough coverage. We're good.
Wow.
Things I haven't heard from Vanderbilt.
I was going to say, now the sports landscape is behaving a little differently these days. And it's not just Vanderbilt. There's, several organizations that are doing things differently now as far as making people available for whatever the reason.
Well, but this is different. They get less coverage than anybody. Really, when you think about it.
They do. They are low on the totem pole when it comes to the pecking order.
Alec, when you were in the room today, was the room full for Clark Lee?
No, it was about half full.
Yeah, half full.
Yeah.
Were you in the room for Kirby Smart?
Yeah, and it was completely full.
Completely full.
Yeah.
Were you in the room for Hugh Freeze?
No, I had to come here.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you it was probably completely full.
I was going to say, now, Darren, don't do that. Don't do that to Clark Lee. Don't compare Clark Lee to the back-to-back national champion.
This has nothing to do with Clark Lee. This is a Vanderbilt thing.
I'm just saying.
This is not a Clark, because Clark Lee isn't saying this. Clark Lee has no idea.
I understand. But let's not compare the crowd size for Clark Lee and Vanderbilt to the back-to-back national champions.
No, I'm just simply saying, whenever you ask, we're asking to have him on. We're trying to talk about you. We're trying to have your coach on for 2 days, and they're just like, nah,
I know.
We're good.
I'm just saying the room thing.
Oh, okay.
I understand.
I didn't know you were good. I mean, okay, my bad. I mean, I guess you guys are just getting loads and loads of coverage. I guess you're good.
I understand. I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
I get it. I was just saying.
But I'm not comparing it. Again, this has nothing to do with him. He didn't know. This has nothing to do with him.
Okay. No, I agree. No, it doesn't have anything to do with him. I just,
I don't do that stuff unless I know for a fact coaches, have something to do with it. Like I saw Urban Meyer. The reason I have always toasted Urban Meyer on the air is because I've seen his work behind the scenes. I've seen what type of person he is, and I have always thought he is a bad person. He is not a good person, and that's why I have
okay.
It's
just call him a bad person.
Oh, 100%. I've seen him in action, and I have never rooted for him because I do not like him.
Okay.
At all. I think he's he fails at being a human being. He really does.
Whew,
yeah.
Man.
Yep.
Man.
Clearly, you haven't listened to me over the years because this is not anything new.
No, I haven't heard this take. No.
And then, by the way, this is many, 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 many years before all this stuff happened in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville.
When it became pretty commonplace to say mean things about Urban Meyer.
And
I've been saying it for,
it was
10
in
years
season.
before that.
It was in season for a good while. It was.
Yeah. I've just, again, I got a chance at Opry Lane Hotel, the coaches' convention, to see him in action behind the scenes, when cameras aren't around.
Sure.
And I got a first look of what he's really like. And, it was icky. It was icky. I needed a shower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a bunch of stuff played out. And I was like, not surprised.
Look at there.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. Tony Barnhart has been covering the league for a long, long time. We will talk to him, tell you what he's up to, and have a good college football conversation with Tony Barnhart. We will do that next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Quinn Stained Glass Repair and Restoration would like to salute everyone who is serving our great country. To the men and women who have helped to uphold and strengthen all that is guaranteed to us through the Constitution, our thoughts and prayers are with you as you defend our freedom. This message is from the crew at Quinn Stained Glass Repair and Restoration, your stained glass experts serving the Nashville area, specializing in new construction, repairs and restoration, residential and commercial. Give Butch a call at 615-308-3447. That's 615-308-3447. Quinn Stained Glass Repair and Restoration.
Nashville, start your engines. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is coming to the streets of downtown Nashville. Experience 3 days of racing, music, family fun zone, food trucks, and more. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is August 4th through August 6th. From stadium super trucks flying through the air to open wheel IndyCar racing that turns right. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix has something for every race fan. There's music all day, every day. And don't miss the Friday and Saturday night concert under the stars. And they have rides for the kids provided by Wesley Mortgage. The streets of Music City come alive August 4th through August 6th. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Grab your tickets before they're gone and log on to MusicCityGP.com. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. It's more than a race. It's a festival.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-898-6155 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-898-6155. That's 800-898-6155. What do you have to lose? Call 800-898-6155. Again, 800-898-6155.
Are you ready for a touchdown of flavor and excitement? Look no further than Sam's Place and Sam's Sports Grill, the ultimate destination for great food, fantastic drinks, and game time atmosphere that will have you cheering for more. Sam's is the place for every sports fan and food lover with over 40 TVs at every location. Sam's has a family-friendly atmosphere where everyone can have a blast. From their friendly staff to awesome kids menu, they've got something for everyone. Online at samsplace.net or samsportsgrill.com, or call and find the nearest location to you. At Sam's, the game is always on and the fun never stops.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Kurt Anderson is on the line with us. What do we have here in Nashville, Tennessee, in Peter Skoronski?
You got a throwback player. Say less, do more type of guy. Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year this year. Physical. He wants to run the damn football. He's a great pass protector. He's like kind of the all-American kid. Really smart.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Welcoming calls from all around Middle Tennessee. 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Rolling along, SEC Media Days, Day 2. Auburn, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. We'll get a little flavor of everybody before we get out of here today.
Should be an exciting day. I know we're going to hear from, obviously, Tennessee's coming up on Thursday. Alabama still coming up here as well. So we still want to hear from some of the big boys, but some interesting things thrown out there already. And we're going to hear and talk about that, I know, coming up here very, very soon. I thought Georgia, from the little bit I've heard of Kirby Smart, it's tough. They're getting questions that we normally don't get to ask people, like, how do you three-peat? That's not a normal set of questions that we get to ask in college football, but Georgia's getting them right now.
Well, our next guest knows a lot about them. Tony Barnhart is in town covering SEC Media Days. Mr. College Football and the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Foundation Board member is he. And like I said, has been covering the league for a long time. Tony, how we doing?
We are doing well. Well into day 2 of SEC Media Days, and it's been a fun day so far.
Why has this worked so well for Kirby Smart at Georgia?
Well, this is going to shock you now, but what I have found over the 46 years of covering football is the team with the best players usually wins. Okay? And in the case of Kirby Smart's a great football coach, but he recruits at a very, very high level. He and his staff do recruit at a very, very high level. And what they've been able to do is stack 4 and 5 recruiting classes on top of each other, so that when you lose 5 first-round draft choices off of the 2021 team from just
may have lost Tony Barnhart there. We're trying to get him back. He brought up a very interesting point there, Darren. Talking about the team with the best talent ends up winning. It can be argued that Mark Gregg had wonderful talent during his time with Georgia. First round wide receivers, first round defensive linemen, they had some of everything there. Yeah. So I just wonder what the difference is. I
know he's on, on a Nashville radio station. I don't think it was Tennessee or Vanderbilt or Florida that zapped him when he was talking about Georgia. I don't think so. But I don't think in this conference, you just never know. Tony, sorry about that. Not sure what happened.
I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead. I missed that question.
Yeah, no, you got interrupted. So you were just talking about the talent base that he's been able to pull in there, which has led to obviously back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, because what that happens is when you replace a great player with another great player, that other great player has been waiting his turn, and he's hungry. That was absolutely the case with last year's national championship team. They had a ton of really good players to replace, but they did it with really good players, and that is the key.
All right, we're having a small issue there. Again, that's the legendary Tony Barnhart, who we just heard from right there. And talking about this issue, we're going to get Tony back as soon as we can as we talk more about SEC Media Days. Obviously, Georgia getting these questions about the possibility of being a 3-time champion is not something that we get normally. But they went back-to-back, and they were talking about what it would be like to at least compete for a three-peat and how hard that really is. And I can promise you that nobody wants to be in the league, and Alabama and whoever else, nobody wants to be in the league where Georgia wins 3 straight. And what's so crazy is Georgia felt very close for years with lots of first-round talent coming out of Georgia. And I can go through the names, and I won't because it's a lot, but whatever. None of those guys ended up winning national championships there at Georgia, despite all the talent that they had. But now, for whatever the reason, it has worked. But maybe they have stacked more talent than anything that we've ever seen at Georgia. The talent level has to be extremely high to knock down Alabama the way they've been able to do over the last couple of years. And to be honest, when they get on the field with most teams, it's not even close. They're able to cakewalk most teams out of the stadium. So it's been highly, highly impressive what Georgia's been able to do so far with all of this. So the other part about this that we have to consider is the fact that Alabama, for sure, has got to be thinking we're reloaded and we're ready. Reloaded and ready to try and take them on. Georgia thinks they've got everybody's best shot. I can promise you this upcoming year, they're really going to get everybody's absolute best shot to get them off of this championship level that they've been on. Now, whether or not anybody's got enough talent to do it, that's a whole other question. But anytime you have a brand new quarterback, and Georgia will, it kind of leaves the door open a little bit, I think, to come in and for somebody to knock them down. We'll see if anybody's actually able to do it or not. Because you can think about all you want. Actually being able to do is something totally different.
Yep, and that will be look, they had the bullseye last year and they pulled it off. So
yeah,
they'll have another big, gigantic bullseye because everybody's going to be picking them to win.
Yeah,
every single game, and
pressure.
We'll see if they can do that. But again, they've been dealing with that pressure, and it's worked.
Yeah,
and here they are.
Yeah,
talking about getting somewhere where. When was the last three-peat?
I don't know
exactly. I mean. I'm
who
was the last
think, and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I would need to legit look it up. I couldn't even. I could sit here and think about it, and I couldn't come up with it.
Right,
because it's been that long. However long it's been that long.
There is a chance. I mean, I don't know if it's ever happened, but if it has,
it's probably been
my
the 40s
guess is it's
or 30s.
like leather helmets.
Yeah, it's probably been back during that era. It's really hard to do, but it's an interesting question because I want to try to find it now. Back to back can be done, but 3 times is really, really unique.
Yeah, Tony Barnhart is on the line with us, Mr. College Football, and Foundation board member for Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Award. Tony, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's something on our end. We apologize, but thanks for being patient with us. When was the last? We were just talking about it. When was the last time? I'm putting you on the spot. Somebody actually three-peated in college football. Is this like going back to leather helmets? Like how far back would we have to go?
It absolutely goes back. And here's the thing: Minnesota did it in 1936, but one of those 3 national championships was like I don't know poll that nobody had ever heard of. It's just. So I'm saying it's never happened.
Wow.
And it's certainly never happened in the modern era of college football. And winning 1 is hard, and winning 2 is impossible. Winning 3 is just ridiculous. And so the odds say that Georgia can't do it, but I'm sitting here looking at the roster and looking at the schedule. They absolutely can do it. So
yeah, and you look, you're right because Ed Orgeron won it, and whenever you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and the list goes on and on, right? We know there's like half the teams playing in the NFL. You can win, but there have been other coaches, plenty of coaches that have had loaded rosters and a lot of talent that were unable to do what Kirby Smart does. So he obviously is doing other things as well of just as bringing in 5-star recruits and top of the end talent to make all this work.
Yes, and they've done it from a facility standpoint, from a program building standpoint, and people forget. Listen, Georgia went 15-0, but they were down double digits at Missouri and found a way to win that game. They had an Ohio State kicker did his best duck hook on the last as the clock struck midnight, and so that Georgia could have lost either one of those games, but you know what? They found a way to win. And so, and the question is, there are inevitable moments when you are in position to get beat, but the question is, do you survive those moments? Georgia did.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're having phone issues. Let's take a break. Let's see if we can't correct this, and we apologize to Tony Barnhart.
We do.
We'll take a break here on the Mcfarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
What happens when the thrill of Powerball meets the thrill of NASCAR? You get a chance to win an exciting trip for 2 to the NASCAR Championship race in Phoenix, Arizona. Plus, the chance to win $1 million in a special drawing. Enter the NASCAR Powerball Playoff Second Chance Drawing at TNVIPRewards.com between June 23rd and July 31st for your chance to win. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly. NASCAR is used with express permission. NASCAR LLC is not a sponsor of this promotion. blast into big July fun all summer long. You won't need sparklers, spinners, Roman candles, or any other fancy fireworks. You'll be rocketing toward explosive top prizes of up to $500,000 with the all-new July Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery. Hurry in and pick out your favorites today. Find them at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today, sunny to partly cloudy with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon or evening. The high 92, heat index 100. Otherwise, partly cloudy tonight, low 74. Partly sunny with a straight thunderstorm Wednesday, high 96. Utilizing the resources of the Weather Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
The Jim Rome Show.
Man, I love Facebook. That's not in any way a time suck. It is such a valuable use of your time, going on everybody else's page and posting how beautiful they look when they don't. You know they don't. Come on. Anyway, do what you want with your time. I don't want you to tell me how to spend my time. I won't tell you how to spend your time, but I will tell you this. Stop cropping out pictures and including yourself and then acting like, hey, my hair looked great that day. My makeup was perfect that day. Just do what I tell you. With regards to this, you'll be fine.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio. The Mcfarland Show, streaming live on the WNSR app and on WNSR.com.
Back here on the show, here on this Tuesday. Our apologies to Tony Barnhart. Not sure what's going on, but we've had this issue before. We'll get it fixed. Somebody who hasn't had an issue, having undefeated seasons and winning national championships, as we were talking about with Tony Barnhart. It is Georgia, and it's Kirby Smart. The Bulldogs have been the team to beat, which is crazy during this Nick Saban era, that the Georgia Bulldogs have been the team to beat here of late. They will be the favorite again. He took to the podium today, so let's hear what Kirby Smart had to say.
So we look for two things when we look for people to join our organization. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about anybody in our organization. Do they love football, and do they embrace being part of something bigger than themselves? Are they selfless? So, like, we want to find people who love football and embrace a selfless role. And those two qualities, loving football and embracing being selfless, are not dependent on outcomes. Like, they're not dependent on win or loss. Did I get a sack? Did I touch the ball? Like, that's not what we're looking for, guys that are dependent on outcomes. We want guys that think independent of outcomes. So when you see complacency take over, it's when a team's enthusiasm and ego start worrying about outcomes. That's not what we do at Georgia. That's not what we bring into our place. That's not what we bring into the culture we want to have. We want selfless people who love football, and that's what we build around. This offseason, we've done the same thing we did the last 2 years. We've tried to change it up. So this year we studied the New Zealand All Blacks, most successful sports team in the history of really teams over 100 years. They've had the highest winning percentage. And so we took a deep dive. We took 6 weeks. We took a title and a mantra from them and studied those things for 6 weeks because we don't want complacency. They've done it better than anybody else, and we use that. One of their big mantras is better never rests. We believe that. Those are strong words now when you think about it. Think deep on it. Better never rests. Our kids understand it. Our kids have learned it. What drives us for this season is intrinsic motivation. We're not going to be controlled by outside narratives and what people say and who's going to be the quarterback. The intrinsic motivation comes from within and what we decide to do. This team, the 2023 team, is still defining itself. We don't know where that goes. That happens over the course of the rest of the summer and fall camp, but I like where it's at. I love the buy-in. I love the fact these guys love being around each other, and they love competing, and they love football. So that's important to me. A couple points before I go to Q&A I want to hit real quick. Every full-time coach on this year's staff, listen to me carefully, every full-time coach on this year's staff was on last year's staff. Tell me the last time a national championship team can say that. The same strength and conditioning coach, Scott Sinclair, the same player development coach, Jonas Jennings, and the same athletic trainer, Ron Corson, has been in our place for 8 consecutive years, the entire time I've been there. We have 26 UGA grads on our staff. Retention for us is the key to sustaining success. Again, retention is the key to sustaining success. We can't do that without a supportive administration, and we sure as hell can't do that without a great culture of people wanting to be part of our program and pour it into our kids. So with that, I'll open it up for Q&A for you guys. And I did go over.
Coach Smart, Rudy Arman, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Speaking of a guy that's been in your program since the beginning, you were with Coach Saban so long. I know he worked with you there. Talk about the development of Glenn Schumann and what he's meant to your program defensively and what he's helped you accomplish thus far.
First off, Glenn Schumann's an incredible man and person. You know, he's a graduate of Alabama. He came there on the Bear Bryant scholarship. His dad played football at Alabama. He's the son of a football coach. He's extremely bright. He's extremely passionate. I rely heavily on Glenn for input on practice schedules, defensive design, thinking outside the box. There's not a time that when I think of who can I ask on my staff that understands what we want and what we need, Glenn Schumann's that guy. He's very talented. You know, and Glenn Schumann will be the first to admit he came to the University of Georgia without ever getting an on-the-field coaching position, and I was very confident in his role to do that. What has he done with that? He has produced one of the most productive inside linebacker rooms in the country, and he's one of the people that really believes in growth being a part of his process, and he continues to grow to this day.
Coach, we'll go over to our right-hand side, over here to the right.
Hey, Coach. Chris Marler, College Football Uncensored podcast. #1 recruiting class, back-to-back natties, more kids in the league in your first 7 years than any coach in the modern college football era. That being said, with all those accomplishments, is there anything specifically you feel like you can improve on as a coach? And also, before you answer, I don't know who this guy is, but he told me y'all are going 7-5 before she handed me the mic, so you're welcome.
He told you what? I couldn't hear.
Y'all are going 7-5. It was him, not me.
I got you. I still couldn't hear what he said, so I don't even know what he said. But it must have been funny. So going back to the original question of you want to know what we can do better or what I can do better, well, there's a lot of things we can do better. You know, we can play much better pass defense late in the season. We can grow as a team and continue to get better in our special teams assets. It's like a constant improvement for us, right? Better never rests. And we firmly believe that. So, you know, we've done a lot of studies this offseason at things we can do better and things we can improve on. And our kids understand that we don't want to be just a football factory. We want to produce people that are quality citizens that do a great job in the community. And I'm constantly evolving as a coach, and I've talked about it several times here today, that I think the best thing I've done is allow coaches to do their job. Take a step back and say, you know what? Maybe it's not better that I sit in this meeting and tell somebody what I think they should do. It's probably better that I let them do it and just oversee it and spend more time with the players so that I know Kamari Lassiter's why. I know Brock Bowers' why. I know Cedric Van Pran's why, because I can probably get more out of them by spending more time with them as players.
Okay, Coach, we'll go right in front of me, about 3 rows back.
Right here, Austin Hannon, Bama Central. You talked a lot about complacency after winning back-to-back national championships. You obviously did the same thing at Alabama as defensive coordinator in 2012 and 13. What lessons are you maybe taking from, you know, that part of your career, and maybe what lessons are you taking from Saban in battling that complacency?
I can't even remember that far back. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember that next season or anything that carried over from that season because you're not thinking about the last season. And I think sometimes as media, you guys want to make it about, well, what are you going to learn? How are you going to combat this? Like all we're thinking about is the next 24 hours. Like, how can we get better in the next 24 hours? I'm not sitting here thinking of some motivating factor. People are like, well, what are you going to tell your team this year? You're going to tell them people are going to say you're going to be 7-5? No, I've never said that anybody thought our team was going to be 7-5. We expect to be good at University of Georgia. We want sustained success. So we have to do that by winning every day. And that's not going to change whether we win it or not this year.
Okay, we'll go right here in front, second row, Pat.
Kirby, Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. You touched on the tragedy, obviously, that hit your program there, but you've had a number of traffic-related incidents since then. Are you disappointed that your players don't seem to have gotten a message from that?
I'm disappointed anytime we have traffic incidents. It's very evident when you look at it. We've had traffic citations and incidents throughout the history of being at the University of Georgia. And we actually don't have more now than we've had in the past. So what concerns me most is the safety of our players, all right? And when you drive at high speeds, it's unsafe. And we don't want that to happen. We're going to do all we can to take that out and make sure that's eradicated. But I'm also smart enough, Pat, to understand and know that 18 to 20-year-olds is when this happens. When it happened to me as a student athlete, that's when speeding happens. What we want to do is take that out and make it safe and not have high speeds. If somebody's going to get a speeding ticket, it should not be a super speeder.
All right, Coach, we'll go over here in front of me, about 4 rows back on the aisle.
Kirby, JoeGoodmanAL.com. You mentioned retention was the key to y'all's success. What's the secret there for you? How are you getting everyone to stay at Georgia with you?
Well, everybody doesn't stay at Georgia. We have all kinds of analysts and turnover in other spots, but making sure people enjoy their work environment, right? Like, I want to come to work each day. And a lot of the motivation to come to work and enjoy it is that you enjoy your time with your family. So I'm always trying to find an innovative way, and I've had people outsource this, like come in and tell me how we can use our time more efficiently, and therefore our coaches get to be with their families and enjoy their families so that when they are here, they're more passionate about their work and they want to stay. You know, the college calendar, the coaching calendar it's one of the toughest things out there. I mean, go ask an NFL coach. They'll tell you, they'll laugh and say, it's crazy what you guys do. Well, I want to make it enjoyable for our coaches so that they feel good and they want to stay and they can bring their family to every event we have and let their kids run around and enjoy it. That's important to me because I want my kids around as well. So the retention part is letting them do their job and making their job more enjoyable.
Coach, we'll go over here to the middle section on the right side.
Hey Kirby, Andy Witchery with On3. The Classic City Collective is one of 7 collectives that plans to introduce a revenue sharing model. What are your thoughts on potential revenue sharing in the future?
I'm not an expert on revenue sharing. I do know that our Classic City Collective has been on the cutting edge of sharing information, trying to get best practices, trying to find a better way. I've been, a big proponent of, like, why can't, just like we talk across different programs to figure out the best way to run a defense or do an offensive play or study, like, let's figure out the best practices of this so that we can get some uniformity among them and try to grow it that way. But that may not answer your question because I'm not an expert on revenue sharing or the way it would be set up.
All right, we'll go straight in front of me. Dennis, go ahead.
Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. Kirby, you're talking about the retention rate, that 85% of those COVID babies sticking around. How hard is that in any given recruiting cycle to get that kind of hit rate?
It's only that hard if you don't recruit the right people. So I'm proud of the fact that 17 of 20 guys are still in our organization from a COVID year in which we didn't get to host an official visit. They didn't get to go and do unofficial visits. And we've retained those guys because we've invested in them as freshmen. We've invested them as sophomores. They've seen kind of return on investment for older players that stuck around. They watched Aquay Walker not start his sophomore year, but start his junior year and then go a first-round pick his senior year. So they've seen a lot of the evidence of the success, but they've also seen the buy-in of the leadership. So I challenge anybody to dig up that COVID class, and that's been a really good. And you know what? We evaluated that class on love of the game and being selfless. Like, that's not hard. It's hard to find, but it's not hard to evaluate.
All right, we'll stay right next door there in the same front row. Teresa.
Over this direction, Coach, to your left. Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. In the wake of the hazing reports out of Northwestern, do you or have you addressed the topic of hazing with your team, or do you, and how do you handle maybe the idea of team bonding within your locker room?
Yeah, that's in our checklist. I think every coach would say at the beginning of the year, you have a certain checklist you go through. And what's happened uniquely is that most of your roster is turning over in January. So a couple years ago, when we had 18 or 19 mid-years, we began doing an August session of this is our new team, these are our new players, these are our team rules, and here's the policies we go by. And then we have to do it in January now, where in the past, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we never did this in January. But our team is turning over in January. So we do twice a year. We do education. We go through, and I lead that session because it's important to me that they hear it from me, and our entire staff's in there, and our entire players are in there. And that's one of the things that we talk about each time, not so much hazing as it is welcoming the freshmen. I remember being a freshman and having to carry people's trays and, getting your head shaved when I was a freshman back in 1994. And I just thought that was so dramatic. But now those freshmen, the guys we sign, they have to play. So when you create this separation of they have to do this and they have to do that, they're not ready to play. They're like a different team. So we do, more of a brotherhood. Take this guy in. He's at your position. Can you go out and teach him and walk him through, embrace those guys, and make sure they understand that hazing will not be tolerated. And if it is, they need to let us know.
Coach, we'll go over to our right on the far wall near the SEC logo. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WCCN out of Huntsville, Alabama. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to ask about recruiting. How much have you seen recruiting change throughout your tenure as a head coach? And what needs to improve, if anything, in terms of recruiting?
When you say what needs to improve in terms of recruiting, recruiting has always been recruiting, right? It's changed because the rules and parameters have changed. We moved up a signing date, moved it to December, which then made us all do official visits in June. I've seen this whole transformation from a recruit in 1994 that went on an official visit in late January to you would never even bring a guy hardly even in on a visit in January because they're almost all already enrolled. So the cycle has flipped in terms of that. But when you talk about improving recruiting, I think so much used to be built on your facility and how can you show them, how you can develop them, the education, what's your major going to be, what do you want to do out life after football? And so much has now become directed towards NIL. And I think that's some of Commissioner Sankey's frustration of trying to make that at least somewhat uniform so that we're not operating under different rules state to state.
There you go. That's Georgia head coach Kirby Smart today, talking to the media. And when you look at their schedule, and this is something that Tony Barnhart was talking about, one, they're coming back with a loaded roster. And two, when you look at their schedule, this is not an NFL schedule where when you have success and go 15-0 and win a national championship, you come back with the most difficult schedule in college football. No.
No, the Chiefs are not waiting for you.
No.
At week 6,
the Bills,
you got to turn around and play the Bills,
the Eagles,
on Thursday night.
On the road.
Yeah. On the road, in a special Tuesday night game right after the late Sunday game.
This is who they don't get. Okay, this is who they don't have on their schedule this season.
Yeah.
Alabama is not on their schedule.
No.
LSU is not on their schedule. Texas A&M is not on their schedule.
Yeah.
Those are probably the top 3 teams.
Those are the 3 teams most likely to win the West.
In the West. They're not on their schedule.
Ole Miss has an argument, but yeah.
Ole Miss is on their schedule, but they have Ole Miss at home.
Yeah.
It's that Tennessee game, the second to last game of the season,
and then
which is
Florida
interesting
does,
because that's always an October game.
Yeah.
Now it's a November game, third weekend November game in Knoxville, and that is going to be the game. But really, when you think about UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB, that's their first 4 games all at home.
South Carolina is the only team
all at home.
Halfway scares you a little bit.
UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB, 4-0. at Auburn, home against Kentucky, at Vanderbilt, home against Florida, home against Missouri, home against Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Georgia Tech.
Hold up. They're not really home against Florida. That's a neutral
that's
site
the
game.
neutral. That's the Jacksonville game.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Now, they may be the home team this year.
It's
you know.
50-50. They sell it 50-50.
Well, don't they list one of the teams as a home team typically?
Yeah, and that's, I guess it must be Georgia's
whatever
year.
it is. So it's Georgia's year to be the home team for whatever it's worth.
That's their schedule. You just heard it. That's their schedule. No Alabama.
Yeah.
No LSU. No Texas A&M.
So it's
out of conference games.
Yeah, okay.
UT Martin.
Yeah.
Ball State.
Yeah.
UAB.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech. That's their out of conference games.
I mean,
I don't even know if they could accidentally lose a game. I mean, I guess they could.
Yes, they could.
They could Well, look, Tony Barnhart brought up the Missouri game, and I watched that Missouri game last year. They were sluggish. They weren't very good. They were down and out the entire game in Columbia and found a way still at the end to win.
Okay.
Still found a way just because they're so talented. They were probably, if they were getting a grade that day, they probably got a C-.
Yeah.
On the road in the SEC and still found a way to win.
This is why I think it is not just possible, but highly possible they can lose the game this year. And I don't know where it could be. But, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, somebody can get them. There's only one reason why it could happen, and that is Stetson Bennett is no longer there. And I'm not saying that the next quarterback who comes in won't be more talented than Stetson Bennett. I'm sure they'll have a bigger arm. I'm sure they'll be bigger. I'm sure they'll have more athleticism. I'm sure they'll do a lot of things better. However, there is something to be said for experience. And whoever is going to be playing, they're not going to have as much experience as the guy who left. Now, where does that come into play? You never know. You never know, and that is the thing of anything. Because one thing that can overcome almost any kind of talent deficit is turnovers. Turnovers are a killer. And if you get a guy who gets in there for whatever the reason, somebody comes up with a scheme, somebody sees something, somebody finds out who his brother is on the left side, from his cousin's house back when he was 3. I don't know. Whatever they find, all of a sudden they throw 2-3 interceptions in a game for whatever the reason, and it's lights out. And it's always unexplainable. You can't explain it. Nobody understands why. It happens all the time. So will they lose? Does that mean they won't win the national championship? Well, they can lose the game and still win the national championship. I'm just saying them running the table with a brand new quarterback, I don't know. I mean, sure, it can happen, but, they've been winning a lot of games. At some point you become due. You got a brand new QB. I'm just saying it can get to you. And here's the other thing, Darren. If they do run the table, if they run into that battle-tested person from the West, I know it always hasn't turned out that way, but, whoever comes out of the West is either going to be bloodied and bruised or, going to be actually game-tested and could come out and hit Georgia in the doggone mouth, and we've seen that happen too. There's a lot of different ways you can cut a champion down.
I know. I'm just saying, usually they don't have that big neutral game Labor Day weekend like last year, right? They played Oregon and just ripped the snot out of the Oregon Ducks. I mean, ripped them from limb to limb.
Yeah.
They don't have that big neutral site game the first week of college football, Labor Day weekend. They don't have that Alabama game. They don't have a Texas A&M game. They don't have an LSU game. I'm just saying, when you look at their schedule, man, it is set up for them
They had a lot of people go to the draft
to get back right where they've been.
A lot of people go to the draft, and not to say they were not going to have talent.
And
they're
you're
gonna
right.
have talent, but they're not going to have experience. And I don't know, just somewhere.
Well, we're
somewhere
going to
down the line.
see. We're about to find out how important Stetson Bennett was, right? Because they do have to replace their very experienced older quarterback.
Not wildly talented,
but experienced.
But knew how to make that
very competitive.
Knew how to make that offense run.
Older quarterback.
Yeah.
A guy who was
very smart
24 and
smart
25
with the
years
football.
old.
Very, it just depends.
And Mike Bobo, who was the offensive analyst last year, takes over as the OC. His second stint as offensive coordinator. Remember, he was the OC at Georgia from 2007 to 2014. So Mike Bobo back in the role as offensive coordinator at Georgia. We'll take our final break in the first hour, come back and wrap up the first hour of the Mcfarland Show next.
Hello, this is Philip Cox from Strike and Spare Family Entertainment. Are you looking for new and exciting things to do with the family during the spring and summer months? Thanks to Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, you don't have to look any further. Sign up today for Kids Bowl Free, a summer pass starting in May where kids 15 and under receive 2 free games of bowling every day. You can also purchase a family pass that allows you to join the fun as well. Visit any of the 5 local Strike and Spare locations in Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Donaldson, Hermitage, and Tusculum to register, or just visit kidsbowlfree.com/Strike and Spare. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
Tennessee Pro Solutions is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Visit DAV.org to see how you can donate to our disabled veterans and make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Tennessee Pro Solutions, serving Middle Tennessee with quality and pride for over 8 years. For commercial and residential roofing, excavation, and remodeling, call 615-389-3390. That's 615-389-3390. Tennessee Pro Solutions. They're professionals who care.
The 2023 season of Atlanta Braves baseball is on, and this squad is fired up to make a run at a 6th straight division crown.
High fly, deep to left, forget about it for Austin Riley. A blast to left.
Catch the 2023 Atlanta Braves right here on Nashville's home for Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Titans fans, Preds fans, the Mcfarland Show has you covered. Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The Mcfarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Thank you, big voice guy. Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio on this Tuesday. Darren and Justin here with you, intern Alec alongside. Hour number 2 coming up here shortly. We'll hear from Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee. We'll also hear from Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze. Did want to let everybody know that some bad weather is coming our way from the west.
Yeah.
So in the next hour, just be on high alert that we could be getting some really, really bad storms.
Heavy rain. There will be some lightning, actually quite a bit of lightning, it would seem. Areas like Clarksville are already getting hit right now with it. So just heads up. We haven't seen any tornado warnings or anything like that issue with the storm yet. However, just know, and listen, if you're here in Tennessee, you guys get the drill. We're going to see some of that heavy rain with the lightning and the wind and all that coming up here in about an hour or so into Metro Nashville.
So just be aware. We're just making it, and we'll continue to pass that message along. 615-844-5600 is our phone line and our text line. Steve texted in and says, why does it bother everyone on the station that Clark Lee got an extension? As a Vandy fan, I'm fine with it. If he sucks, they had plenty of money to fire him. Sorry you all are so butthurt that they left your station. So Steve with a little dig on the way out.
Wait a minute. Listen, I can speak for myself here,
I was just saying, first of all,
is
everyone, I don't know if Bill Keene and Greg and John have
I don't know,
taken issue to
and
this.
quite frankly,
either,
I don't care if they are or not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they gave an extension to a head coach who is 7-17. That is questionable, regardless if this was their flagship station or if they never heard of us.
With 4 years left on a contract.
With 4 years left in the contract. So I'm glad you're okay with it. That's cool. But for you to come at us like we're the ones who are, why are we butthurt? We weren't getting the money. It's okay. We're not in charge of the football team. But if you're good with it, then good for you.
Which, by the way, we weren't carrying Vanderbilt football.
No.
So.
And it doesn't matter. Listen, if you're okay with him getting the contract extension at 7-17, you go for it.
Yeah. Look, again, I'm with
it's
you.
your world, man.
If you're okay with it, Steve, it's fine.
Good for you, Steve.
Why are you upset that we're questioning why would you do it?
Because we said something?
Agreed. It's not our money. So you're right. If they fire him, it's not our money. It's not coming out of our pay. So, yeah. So why should we care? Because this is what we're paid to do.
Pardon us
Give
for having
opinions.
an opinion, Steve.
This is a talk show. It's a sports talk show.
And you gave us yours. So thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. You gave us your opinion about us, and we were giving our opinion about Vanderbilt. Sorry we hurt you.
And I don't know if everyone else has been saying that. I don't care.
I don't care if everybody
They're allowed to say whatever they want on their shows. You know what we control? Our show. That's it. That's the only thing we can control. What is said on these airwaves during our showtime. That's it. What everybody else says is up to them.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with it, that's fine.
What?
But don't get mad because we're questioning.
Coming at us. Because you're satisfied with 7-17. So you go for it.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for hour number one. We'll come back. Like I said, we'll hear from Clark Lee. Hope that's
Absolutely.
okay. Hope that's okay. And Hugh Freeze from Auburn. That's coming up next here on the Mcfarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
.560 AM, 95.9 FM, Brentwood, Nashville, 107.9 FM, Smyrna, Nashville's first 24-hour sports station. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. President Biden meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog at the White House the day after he agreed to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this year.
As I affirmed to Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday, America's commitment to Israel is firm, and it is ironclad.
President Herzog will address a joint meeting of Congress tomorrow. Former President Donald Trump received a letter notifying him that he is a target in Special Counsel Jack Smith's probe into efforts to overturn the 2020 election. This likely means he will be indicted for a third time. The Pentagon believes a U.S. Army private is being detained by North Korea after crossing into North Korea voluntarily during a tour in South Korea. The Army private has been identified as 23-year-old Travis King. More than 70 million people in more than a dozen states are under heat alerts today in the U.S. Phoenix broke its record for the most days in a row above 110 degrees. This is ABC News.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. Select Quote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find. I like this flavored gin, but want something new? You'll love this one. Wow! Oh, you're good. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the Mcfarland Show with Darren Mcfarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number. Alrighty then. Now the Mcfarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour, Mcfarland Show rolling along. You can watch us every day from 2 to 4 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can also listen to us on WNSR.com. There's an app. You can live stream. There's so many ways. You can hear us anywhere in the world. So if you're on vacation, you can still listen to the show.
Which people do.
They do. You're right. Again, to pass along, there is bad weather heading our way. So be cognizant of the weather in the next hour or so, that there's some really, really bad storms coming in our area. So just wanted to give you the heads up on that. So if you're going to be out and about, just know that it could get, let's just say, as they say, sometimes we could have a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
Here this afternoon.
Yeah. Lots of lightning associated with this storm. Could be some high winds as well. Certainly a lot of heavy rain. So heads up as it continues to move in. From right now, it's really working over Clarksville and Montgomery County and starting to make its way down I-24 into Nashville.
Clearly, we've had a bumpy ride on the show today because Philip tweets at me and says if a coach or a player has a 3-year deal and he's going into his 3rd year, getting a contract extension is pretty regular business. Why are people, in parentheses, your station in particular, so up in arms about it? So the same theme again. So, one, he had 4 years left going into this season. So that's not standard operating procedures. In a rookie deal, if that's what we're talking about, because typically they're 5-year deals, it's going into that 4th year is when they start talking about it. Remember, that was the thing about Big Jeff, right?
Yeah.
And then he played that 4th year. And so it's never about 4 years left on a deal, that it's pretty regular standard operating procedures to start re-upping people. In college, it's a little bit different with coaches. I've never understood this. ADs love to say this. Coaches love to say this. And look, if you can get the security on those guaranteed contracts, good for you. Wouldn't we all love to be able to do that?
Boy.
Absolutely.
Boy.
But it's always, it's like the stupidest thing I think in college football and athletics is we're just trying to show all the recruits out there that this coach is going to be around a long time. Well, this just in. It doesn't matter the length of the contract in any school, especially in the SEC. If they don't like you or you're not winning to their satisfaction, it doesn't matter what they're Northwestern just fired their coach with $42 million left on it. Now, I get it. It's not about losing when it comes to Pat Fitzgerald. It was about a hazing incident, which by the way, also was a little bit of a theme today at SEC Media Days. But Northwestern, and I don't know, maybe they're going to fight it. I'm not sure, but we've seen SEC coaches go away and get paid gobs of money to go away, right? So a contract, honestly, to recruits is really irrelevant, in my opinion. You may disagree with that, but it's irrelevant because the SEC's already proven the deep pocket boosters, if they don't like you and they want you gone, they'll foot the bill. What do you need? Okay, I'll stroke you a check. Or today, do we just Venmo? What do we do here? Do we Venmo? Do we PayPal?
Direct pay.
Apple Pay?
Direct pay.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
So I guess they don't stroke checks anymore, right?
No, nobody does that, bro. No.
So, I mean, it's a silly notion to say, well, we want to show stability. We want to let the recruiting classes know this coach is going to be here for a while. It doesn't matter. If this coach doesn't win enough football games, they don't care. They're going to fire them. It doesn't matter what the buyout is. They'll move on. We've seen it over and over. And what was Brian Harson's payout at Auburn?
Oh, a lot. I don't know, but a lot.
It wasn't a couple million. I can promise you that.
No.
Wasn't it close to 20 million?
They had to give him quite a bit. And listen, that happens. I mean, listen, the University of Tennessee has had
they've been buying out coaches for a good while
on the payroll at the same time. So that's not new at all. They've been doing this.
$21.4 million was buyout.
Was Brian Harsin?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
$21.4 million
to fire him,
to tell him to get lost. $21.5 million.
Jeez.
On to Hugh Freeze. And a whole new staff, by the way.
I mean,
it's an expensive endeavor, right? Like
it is.
You're taking on a brand new staff and you're paying an old staff to go away. That's a whole lot of dough right there.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody's at the door. Alec. It's the UPS man.
It's the UPS man.
Got a package.
We may want to go get. Okay. We can. I'm not sure what you want to do about that. Okay. I mean,
are you expecting anything?
No, I'm not. But
because
I don't mind running to get the door if I can get. It's fine. Listen, I don't want to leave it out there.
Can you just leave it on the porch?
That's what he's going to do.
All right.
He's leaving it on the porch. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we have a break.
We can go get it during the break.
Yeah. He's coming back.
We can work it out.
This is good radio.
Maybe somebody got to the door.
This is the beauty of having, the Ring camera.
Yeah.
Out back.
You can certainly see.
We can just sit here and watch on the monitor.
Yeah, Alec, if you want to go, well, I don't know. It depends.
Let's
do we want to
tell you what? Let's get Tony. We'll get him.
Let's get to Tony.
Tony, what's going on?
Man, what a show!
I know
we have like live radio.
Have we ticked you off too?
Say, Tony, you mad? Tony,
no,
come on, Tony.
I'm just I see both sides of it. Really, I do. I mean, Vanderbilt's over there trying to create a little thunder and lightning with the SEC tournament and the SEC stuff going on here this week, and I can't blame them for trying to get out there on that, and then at the same time, but y'all are right also, you still got 4 years on a contract. What's the deal with, what are you trying to prove here? I mean, I don't think Clark Lee's going anywhere and that type of thing. And Justin, I did want to answer a question for you.
Yes, sir.
There was one coach that left Vanderbilt for another head coaching job. It was back in 1974, Steve Sloan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we know that
Okay.
we were in context because there is Steve Sloan. There's Jerry DiNardo left for LSU.
Yes.
We were talking about.
And that's I was going to go there.
Yeah, we were
Well, let me
talking
tell you
about
one
from
quick thing also.
1998 to present. That's why.
When Darren and I got here in 98.
When we started covering
DiNardo had
Vanderbilt.
3, 5, and 6 seasons, and LSU come up here and got him.
Yeah.
So, and you know one thing I got so sick of hearing about this listening to Kirby Smart. I like Kirby. But all that BS that he puts out there, let me give y'all some stats about Kirby's football players. His football team, since he's been on board, has faced sexual assault. His players have faced sexual assault, domestic violence, illegal possession of firearms, reckless driving, charged with nearly 300 driving offenses in the last few years, including the death of a former player and a host or whatever her role was at Georgia after they had beaten TCU.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it's just some – guys, listen to this. 3 players were cited for doing more than 100 miles per hour driving a car, 3 different players, one of them in a 35-mile-per-hour zone.
I'm not even trying to be funny, Tony, but what is it about? I mean, this was some of the same things that plagued Isaiah Wilson here. I mean, think about it. His hiccups were all
I know that.
driving
I know
stuff and
but I'm
DUI.
saying
Like,
Kirby
what is it about Georgia that has all these, you know, this type of behavior? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny about it.
And Kirby Smart's playing the role. They come here, they don't hit the portal. They're dedicated, they're faithful. Well, they're also out of control off the field, and you need to get their driving. This is stuff that was reported on ESPN and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And this is things that one player was stopped one night smoking a joint, had an open container, and was doing it over 90 miles per hour. And Kirby wants to talk about how great his players are and they don't get in trouble. He needs to start taking them to traffic school and driving defensive driving school, do something with them. So that's just all I wanted to say about Kirby.
You feel better?
All right.
Oh, yeah, well, I think everybody – I'm glad I've enlightened all the Bulldog fans on what's going on down there.
And look, I'm pretty sure they're aware of their hiccups.
You know, there's a barking. Guys, do we still have a few minutes?
Yep, go ahead.
Sir. Yesterday I called you and said I wanted to have a little fun with you.
All right, man.
And I know we're still kind of dead time other than the conference going on with the SEC coaches. I said about 2 weeks ago and started looking at what would my Mount Rushmore be when you start looking at all the trophies that are given out in each respective sport or race or tennis tournament or golf tournament. What would my Mount Rushmore be? And, man, when I started making out a list, it was unbelievable. I put up on my Mount Rushmore the Stanley Cup, the World Series trophy, and the Lombardi trophy. And then the fourth one I really had a hard time with was but I went with the green jacket from the Masters. But when you start thinking of the World Cup and the PGA FedEx Championship Cup, the trophy, what it signifies and represents, the Wimbledon, which we just had the Wimbledon.
Wimbledon's,
you know, in NASCAR racing, one of the biggest prizes to get, other than the Daytona 500, is up at, I believe it's Richmond, Darren, the grandfather clock.
Yeah, that's Martinsville.
Now, Tony, I just want to be clear. Tony,
this week they had a big 25-pound lobster that they gave away to one of the drivers. Each time a driver wins, they get that big lobster handed to them.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, there are so many. You know, the NBA trophy. It's a beautiful trophy. But that was my Mount Rushmore. And I was going to see where y'all were going to take it, where y'all would take y'all's Mount Rushmore of championship trophy.
And we're just talking about best looking. We're talking just the look, right? Is that what we're talking about here, Tony?
Look and representation of what it means.
Of what it means.
How far? I mean, you've got some trophies in there. The claret jug that they're fixing to play the British Open this weekend. They're fixing to play and you call it the Open. And I made a mistake there. It's the Open. But that little claret jug is one of the most oldest, most iconic little trophies, and the significance of it. You know what it means. So you could look at this several different ways. What's the most elegant, most beautiful trophy? What is one that carries the most prestige and heritage behind it? I mean, there's so much, but that was just a little something that I fooled around with this past week. So, but I thought I'd throw it out there to y'all and thought y'all to see where y'all wanted to take it.
Is there any trophies for punters? No? Any trophy for punters?
The Ray Guy Award.
Ray Guy Award.
Well, there is the one. Wait a minute. They got the Ray Guy trophy, remember?
Yes. Yeah, I know, and you didn't even bring that up.
I did not bring up the Ray Guy trophy because you can get into this with individual trophies and awards as opposed to team trophy awards. You put the Ray Guy trophy over there with the Cy Young, and those type of things.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I look at it.
Guess who's at the podium tomorrow for SEC Media Days?
Going to be there.
South Carolina.
So it's going to be interesting. He might throw a pass. You never can tell.
South Carolina tomorrow.
There you go, guys.
All right.
Hey, guys, y'all be careful going home.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
By the way,
man.
so I just goofed. South Carolina's Thursday.
Thursday.
They're the last day.
Okay.
Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee. The punter will be in the house.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. We'll offer up an olive branch to the Vanderbilt fans who listen, and we'll offer up Clark Lee. We'll do that next here on the Mcfarland Show, WNSR.
Hey, Tennessee, when you bet on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town, you get the best reward possible, cold, hard cash. You bet with your own money, so why accept anything less from your rewards program? With Zen Sports, you earn cash on your bets, cash on your referrals bets, and a welcome bonus in, you guessed it, cash. So stop settling for Vegas rewards when we're in Tennessee. Cash in your old sportsbook for Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts, from the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
And now, Quick Flow HVAC LLC is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Visit USO.org and locate Military Care Package and see how you can make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Quick Flow HVAC LLC, your local HVAC contractor. For all your HVAC needs, give the pros a call today at 615-326-7031. That's 615-326-7031. Quick Flow HVAC LLC. They're professionals who care.
This is the Greg Vogue and John Burton Show.
The New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go.
Oh, you're not doing the rap part?
I don't know how to rap, but John, look at me. I mean, do I look like I'm in the studio with you? I mean, come on.
Greg Vogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
The Mcfarland Show, broadcasting live in Rutherford County on 107.9 FM.
That's true. I can vouch for that. Darren and Justin here with you. Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studio. Vanderbilt, a part of SEC Media Days 2. News yesterday, Clark Lee gets 3 years tacked on to a contract now through 2029.
Through the decade.
Today,
we will have another presidential election by the time that we will have 2 presidential elections, as a matter of fact, by the time his contract runs out. We'll have one next year. We'll have another one in 28, and his contract still won't be up.
And today he spoke with the media. Here's what Clark Lee, Vanderbilt head football coach, had to say.
As I look out my window daily, I now witness the physical transformation of our spaces, a reality that very few believed would ever be possible. Our buildings are changing, but our foundation never will. What makes Vanderbilt football special is our people, fully devoted to each other and aligned on our team mission. We forge the bonds of human connection the only way we know how and the only way that lasts, finding our joy and purpose in shared suffering and sacrifice. This, coupled with our developmental approach, ensures that we maximize the experience of each individual in our program. We're playing the long game at Vanderbilt, and rather than have our program blowing in the wind, moved by the latest trends in the broader landscape of college football, we've chosen to set our foundation deep in solid ground, and we're committed to seeing our mission through. Our belief is simple: devoted people, developmental approach, dominant program. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question for Coach Lee, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Morgan, Thomas, and Lauren will get a microphone. We'll start over here, Coach, in front of my section here on the aisle, about midway back. Drew.
Coach Lee, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask you about a way you built your roster, and he's one of the first hires you made. It was kind of an outside-the-box thing, and he'd been so involved in recruiting. But talk about Barton Simmons and the role he plays and how he's helped you build your roster so far at Vanderbilt University.
Yeah, Barton has been such a great partner, and the truth is that hire was made like back in the 7th grade, I think, you know. He's been a best friend of mine for a really long time. And one of the cool things to me is, obviously I've got a ton of respect for Barton as a professional, but respect him so much as a competitor too. You know, we built our bonds on the fields of high school football and, you know, competing together. But as we got into our respective professions, we stayed obviously in close touch and always had, I think, you know, not always supported by our wives, but we'd have these long conversations about what development looked like, what players looked like in high school that became pros, and where some of the flaws are in the system for evaluation. What is valued maybe externally that we know sometimes can be misplaced internally. And over the years, we kept having these conversations, and so I really wanted someone to reimagine what recruiting could be. You know, we needed to be very specific and precise. We needed to be surgical with how we were building our roster here, and we can't afford to miss, you know. But we also understand that because we are developmentally based, that those players that we bring in that get our full investment every day, their performance will amplify. You know, I got a couple of guys with me today that are examples of that. Will Shepard and Ethan Barr. Now, we didn't recruit them, but they had very similar journeys out where Vanderbilt was their only Power 5 offer. Jalen Mahoney, who's here, had some other options, but these are really good players and SEC, all SEC level players that were grown and developed in those systems. So again, his willingness to take that approach, and not even willingness, but I mean the alignment we have on the vision of what a developmental program can and should be, it's been a lot of fun, and we continue to have fun, and he continues to be such a valued part of our process. And you know, the good news for me is he's a Nashvilleian like I am, and I know Haley, his wife, is not going anywhere, so this partnership will go for a really long time.
Coach, we'll go right down the center aisle, about 3/4 of the way back.
Hey, Coach. Christian Skelton, Fox Sports Knoxville. First off, congrats on the extension. And on defense, the corners seem to be the biggest question mark for you guys heading into this season. How do you plan to balance playing the veterans and the young guys that you still got that are developing?
Yeah, we have to find the best 11 on both sides. We do return some snaps at corner, but that doesn't mean that we feel like that gives us the best chance to win just because they played a bunch. This is about finding the people that are capable in the moment. Obviously, in a game now that is won and lost on the perimeter. So we have to give our young players a chance to develop in fall camp. Obviously, we have some second-year players that are further along in their progress that we expect to have a role on our team. We also have a true freshman that comes in with the chance to make an impact too. And one of the great, the way we start our season almost assuredly won't be the way we finish our season. And so part of the formula here is always having the patience to see that level of performance, come to the surface. If you remember a year ago, CJ Taylor started as kind of a fringe contributor on our defense and became really our most dynamic playmaker on that side of the ball. That'll happen at some level this year too. And so what our goal here is in fall camp is to get all those guys exposure, and they're going to be guarding some SEC level receivers now. We have a good receiving core, and it's not always going to look pretty. But for us, it's to be patient enough to see that through, to keep coaching and developing them through both their wins and their losses and their reps, and to see how that group matures through camp and where we're ready to start the season. And at the point at which we put the ball down against Hawaii, we don't stop evaluating at that point. We'll still look for the highest level of performance, and that gives those young players time to build into an impact role.
Okay, we'll go right in front to your right, third row.
Hey, Coach, Almar Richardson from OrangeBloods.com. Big picture question, Coach. Next season, Texas joins the SEC, and obviously they'll be traveling to your house. Your impressions on just Texas, anything you can say about them, and then what kind of team can Texas expect to face once they see you guys in 2024?
Well, I'm obviously, you're talking to a football coach ahead of fall camp, so my scope is pretty narrow right now. I'm excited about the way the league's expanding. I think, obviously, to add Texas and
All right, everybody. It was Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee speaking there at SEC Media Days. Apologies for why it cut off suddenly. Unsure about that. Getting still, he had a lot to say about a variety of topics there. As again, he got that contract extension through the end of the decade to be there at Vanderbilt, talking about the construction on campus, talking about the overall vision for the program. And, the ability to try and keep students, I think, is the real challenge. He's playing in an NIL transfer portal league, and he wants to try and hold on to players and try to keep them there and grow them and develop them. Is it going to work? I don't know. But that's the game he's talking. And so, we'll find out. 5-7 last year, and who knows what happens this year.
All right, let's go through. So they went 5-7. They went 2-6 in conference. So same opponent as last year. Remember, they started off in Hawaii. This year they have them here in Nashville. So
home and home.
Hawaii on August 26th, which, by the way, is a week earlier than most everybody's going to be playing on Labor Day weekend. So they get off to a little bit earlier start. So Hawaii here on a Saturday night. That game will be on SEC Network. When? They tore Hawaii apart last year.
Yeah.
Is it a win here?
Yes, I would think so.
Me too.
I would think so.
Alabama A&M here.
That's a win.
2-0. At Wake Forest. No Sam Hartman. We know he transferred. Wake Forest was good last year. I have not looked into Wake Forest this year.
I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't know.
In North Carolina this year.
And it's at Wake Forest. I don't know. That's
it's a 50-50 ball. I mean, we can count it as the L For me, just games they should win. For me, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Just games they should win.
The following week at UNLV, how do you view that?
They win that game.
They win that game.
UNLV is not a good football program.
Okay.
Or at least they haven't been.
Well, I think actually, who was there?
Have they improved?
Yeah,
Has they gotten better?
Hold on,
They rebuilt? For a while, they were not. They were not a good football program for a little while.
Their coach is one Barry Odom.
Oh, sure. The former Missouri coach, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
No, Wisconsin. Yes. Or no, Missouri.
Yeah. Okay.
Missouri.
Probably
yes.
both.
Was it
both?
Missouri, yes. Long time Missouri. He went to Arkansas.
Okay.
He was at Arkansas.
Yes, he was. Okay.
He was the defensive coordinator at Arkansas, but he is
I associate him with Missouri.
Yeah, and that's where he spent most of his time.
Okay.
So, yes. Missouri, long time at Missouri. And so Barry Odom is now at UNLV.
Okay,
so
maybe
it'll be his first year at
okay.
UNLV.
So he's just getting started.
Yes.
Okay, so definite win then.
Yeah. So there you go. First year.
Yeah, first year coach, rebuilding program. You're supposed to win that game.
But I just wanted to point out that we'll see. We'll see if Barry Odom can get him turned around. But it won't be probably
it won't
their
be
fourth
this
game
year.
of the season.
Yeah, it won't be this year.
Okay. So let's go with 3 wins?
That's 3-1.
Possibly 4. Possibly
4. They could beat Wake Forest. Sure.
Kentucky here.
No.
Especially since they beat Kentucky there last year, right?
Yeah.
They'll remember that. That'll be tough. That'll be a tough one.
One of their best players now plays for Kentucky.
And that is true. They're running back.
Yeah.
Okay. Missouri here.
I don't know what I'm getting from Missouri. I mean, for me, let's go ahead and count it as a loss here. I really don't know what Missouri's given this year. I really don't. And I'm sad to say that, but I don't. Missouri's a wild card in my mind. I don't know what they're made of.
In the swamp at Florida.
That's a loss,
After
especially
beating
after last
Florida,
year. That's
beating
a
Florida
loss.
here.
That's a loss.
Georgia here.
Loss.
At Ole Miss.
Loss.
Auburn here.
Auburn's the first year. And here's the thing. We haven't played it yet.
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze was sounding very apologetic today. Like, asking the fans to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
And typically when a coach is doing that, they know they don't have anything in the cupboard. And it's possible that the cupboard is bare at Auburn. And
it's not bare. It's not.
Okay.
Like, I'll just say right now.
Be cautiously optimistic, but.
Well, here's what I think he's trying to do.
Okay.
It's not like he hasn't been in the SEC before.
He has.
And Ole Miss has expectations. SEC teams, but they don't have the expectation. Like, Auburn's a different. We've talked about this many times. Auburn is a totally different animal.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, they're excited. He also talked about them selling more tickets than they've ever sold before the season.
Did.
So the hype. So he already knows there's hype and people are excited. So if people are excited and there's hype and it's Hugh Freeze. He won at Liberty. He won at Ole Miss. Everywhere this guy's been, he's won. Arkansas State.
True.
He's won.
True.
But he's like, hey, let's give me. I think what he's trying to do is give me some time. In other words, I don't know how this year's going to play out.
Yeah.
Give me some time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He was ringing the caution bells today.
Yes, I agree with that.
Every year we get 2 or 3 coaches who get up there and do that, and this year was Hugh Freeze. So does that make me think Vanderbilt's got a shot? Because I don't really know what's at Auburn. So, I'm going to go ahead and give Vanderbilt. Well, is it on the road or here?
It's here.
Vanderbilt can win that game.
Okay.
I think Vanderbilt can win that game.
At South Carolina.
Nah.
At Tennessee.
Nah.
So, look, this is a team that could be flirting with being bowl eligible.
Another 5-7 year.
No, 6-6. They could get to 6. Possibly.
They could.
Possibly.
Yeah.
The key is
the early games,
look,
as always.
The key is,
as always,
well, their first 6 games, really, when you think about it.
But that's every year. That's every year for this football team. They've got to make their run in September in order to set themselves up, because the back end of the schedule is always brutal. Always.
Hawaii, Alabama A&M, Wake Forest, UNLV, Kentucky, Missouri. What do they do in those first 6 games? That is going to be the key to them possibly getting to 6 wins.
Yeah. Because we know that November is always brutal for them.
Well,
Typically.
really, October, which is Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, November, Auburn, South Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Those are.
But this is every year.
Yeah, this
is not unusual.
That's a tough stretch.
It's all the time.
You really don't want to be in the position to try to have to win 2 of those games to get to 6.
No. You want to be able to try and pull an upset alert on somebody down the stretch and maybe get 1 game, but getting 2 is going to be a big ask. So we'll see. But no, could they go 5-7? Sure, they could. They can go 5-7 again. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be satisfactory to everybody? I don't know. I mean, what the expectations are for the program right now is very questionable because it's clear they're giving Clark Lee a lot of rope. It's clear that they are they're under renovation over there, and they're building towards, having the football team ready at some point. So when everything is finished, you want to have a good product on the field. That's how typically it goes. By the time all the renovations are done and we've opened up all the new stuff, you want a good product to be out there with it.
I think what I'm curious to see, and this is year 3 for him,
mm-hmm.
He's a guy who understands what he signed up for. He understands the program. He understands and loves where he is. This is where he wants to be.
Yes.
That's great. But James Franklin got people. He got the. I used to say this. I saw more Vanderbilt like flags and stuff with that short period of window with James Franklin than anybody. Because you were at those press conferences like me.
Oh yeah.
And every single week he is practically begging. He's demanding and begging people to show up to games, right?
Yeah.
Derek Mason did a lot of the same thing. Like he got it, right? Like, and he's doing the dance afterwards. So he created something. Is Clark Lee creating any excitement or reason for people to show up? Because it's hard. It's hard. If we're being honest, it's a hard job. It's a program that has a bad reputation for not getting it, not making any changes. They're finally doing that. The stadium, if you go look, they're making changes.
Yeah.
They're trying to enhance the experiment, which hasn't had. I mean, that stadium in 1984 looked exactly in 2014 as it did in 1984.
Yeah.
Nothing different about it.
Not really.
So they haven't given people reasons to show up, and they haven't done any great winning. So the question is, are they doing things now with, as I said, enhancements where you can see they are working on a new football stadium, the renovations.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. A guy that's there, yes, kind of. But it's something.
It is something.
It's better than nothing.
It is going to be different.
Are they creating anything for people to leave home? Because we have learned that today, especially in football, college or the NFL, if you don't give people a reason, they'll just stay at home and watch it because the experience is plenty good enough at home.
I think getting a couple of SEC wins last year, including beating a marquee team like Florida, does do something to get people motivated, does do something to get people's attention, does do something to spark the imagination a little bit. Now, do you need more wins like that? Yes, you do. Do you need a bowl game appearance? That wouldn't hurt. But beating Florida is a good start. Getting some SEC wins is a good start for this particular team. So they don't have to do much, but they got to do something. And who knows? That's the hard part, because what we don't know and what we really haven't seen, Darren, is how Vanderbilt operates in this particular era where you've got the transfer portal at play. And it used to be you get a good guy at Vanderbilt, a good player, he was going to be there. Another, an extra year or two. Now they're out of there. So who knows, can they continue to draw in and grow players in the middle of this climate without losing them to Auburn or Kentucky? Because now you're just not losing them. You're losing them in conference. Clark Lee was asked today about a player that's at Auburn, a linebacker that's at Auburn. We just talked about their running back is at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Mike texted in, Vanderbilt did win at Kentucky last year with their star quarterback. Kentucky didn't come close to scoring in the Music City Bowl. Who predicted a Kentucky win? As in the Vanderbilt-Kentucky game? I don't
think so.
Or the Kentucky Music City Bowl. Kentucky was abysmal. Of course, they didn't play either. It was, all their good players said, we're not playing. So that didn't help.
No, I'm sure
Any player that was worth a damn said, yeah, we're not playing. We're out.
Okay.
That didn't help things.
Vanderbilt got the win.
It was a deathly dull game.
Yeah.
The Kentucky game here at the Music City Bowl.
I'm not trying. Listen, we got to go to break, but I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to knock down Vandy and their accomplishments. Okay, they were 5-7 last year after a 2-10 year the year before. That's with some SEC wins.
It's an improvement.
It's an improvement. And with a team that was way down as far as talent, they had to start from scratch. So with a new voice and a new message. So it's been good. I'm just saying it's early to get excited. After, because we really don't know. We really don't know what's on the horizon for them.
615-844-5600 is our phone line and our text line. More of the Mcfarland Show next.
Just because you can't see it or smell it, radon gas is everywhere. Caused by natural radioactive decay, it is the leading cause of lung cancer in women, children, and non-smoking men. And with Davidson County homes testing higher than the national average, now is the time for radon testing. Radon Mitigation is Nashville's licensed and NRPP certified radon mitigation company who can test your home, install systems, and maintain continuous meters for daily readouts on their simple-to-use app. Or you can test at home yourself by picking up one of the free DIY at-home test kits. Let Alex and his team at Radon Mitigation make your home a clean air home. Give them a call today at 931-47-RADON. That's 931-477-2366. Or online at ChooseRadont.com. That's ChooseRadont.com.
Hey, I'm Alex with Radon Mitigation. Proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves on WNSR.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the ultra-smooth, ultra-powerful iPhone 11 for $49.99.
He didn't stutter.
See every angle with dual cameras.
Make it a double.
All on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half a Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only at one per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Welcome back to Total Wine. What brings you in today?
Hey, Ruthie. I need help filling the ultimate beach cooler.
Well, we have the most hard seltzers and amazing canned cocktails anywhere, like High Noon, Cutwater, White Claw, Truly, Topo Chico, Jack Daniels & Coke, Neutral Vodka Seltzer, and Cayman Jack Zero Sugar Margarita in cans.
Wow. I'm going to be the king of the cooler.
And we have them at the lowest prices in town. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
It's a Bill King Show.
Somebody asked me, this ascension of Tennessee football, is it sustainable? I think it is sustainable. Their recruiting ranking school. You can get A-plus personnel to Rocky Top, Tennessee. And the state is now way better than it ever was in its past, producing players.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The Mcfarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
I did something last night that people have been talking about, Justin, and I just haven't done it yet. But I said, you know what? I started off watching baseball.
Okay.
Braves weren't playing last night.
Okay.
Reds played. Had it on MLB Network. They had their game on, their regional game or whatever game they had chosen, which I'm now drawing blanks. I can't remember the game I was watching.
And it's a mess, too.
And so I was watching baseball for a while. And I had a couple people text me, ironically, even though we've been talking about it and had people call in about it, about this quarterback series on Netflix, which Peyton Manning is behind.
Yes.
And I just saw Peyton Manning. There was something during the show I saw where Peyton Manning announced that season 2 has been picked up.
And so he's got to pick some new players there.
Yeah.
Some new quarterbacks.
I've lost that tweet, but
okay.
There was something that he said Peyton Manning put out there that season 2 is put out. So I watched 3 episodes. I don't even know how many episodes are there? Do you know?
I think there's 8.
There's 8. Okay.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm planning on watching. Like, I'm in now. Like, so I did 3 episodes last night. I couldn't sleep, so it was a good thing for me to watch 3 episodes, which they're what, about 45, 50
about
minutes?
45, yeah.
45 minutes each. So that was what, about 2 hours, close to 2.5 hours of my life, which is fine. Couldn't sleep. Watched them.
Yeah.
I liked it. But here, I'll just say it.
All right.
I'm just not sure why they chose Marcus Mariota. Again, I hate talking about him because everybody must think I don't like him. He's a super nice guy. He's just not interesting. He doesn't have anything to say. And I'm not sure why they chose him. I think Kirk Cousins has been fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a lot about Kirk Cousins.
Really have, yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes. Like, we just know the great talent that he is. But I have found him fascinating.
Yeah,
and his wife is fascinating.
Listen, we found
she's not quiet. How about that? How about I say Alec is laughing. Alec, have you been watching it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
But I know about Patrick Mahomes' wife. She's all over social media.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't even know.
She is universally disliked.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
Okay.
People think she is crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she is. I could see that. I mean, I'm just saying.
We understand the different type of animal that Patrick Mahomes is. Now, putting a microphone on him for this long, especially during the game, he presents now
Man, I love that.
A very, it's almost Kobe Bryant-esque. It's the only thing I can compare it to, really.
The exchange with Max Crosby was awesome.
Oh, yeah, man.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I love the in-game stuff.
Listen.
I love that.
The move against Tampa, and then when he says, yeah, I'm like that.
Yes.
Like, as soon as
yes.
I mean, that's some pickup basketball stuff. When you're that level of trash talk, when you do something unbelievable, and then right in that moment, you say, yeah, I'm like that. As soon as you do it, that is,
How about this line? Hey, I watched film, bro.
They don't know I watch film. I don't understand why they don't know I watch film.
Oh.
Like, he's on another level, clearly, when it comes to that. And it kind of lets you know the competitive fire that stirs inside of him there as well, which is cool to see. Now, you asked, why Marcus Mariota? Well, here's the trick about it, Darren. You need somebody to say yes. And we don't know who they asked.
Sure.
And we don't know, who said, nah, I'm not doing this.
He said yes. He's never liked that stuff. Never. He was here for 5 years and ran from the media. Like, I'm just shocked. And I get it. He's back up now, and I think he's coming to the end of his career.
He was the starter last year when they did this, though. He's the backup now, but he was the starter. He was the established starter last year when they did this. Unquestioned coming in year one, he was going to be the starter last year.
Although they did draft a quarterback in the 3rd round.
They did, but he was going to be the starter, and everybody understood that, including the quarterback that they drafted. He understood that. He understood that this is his audition, really, if he ever wants this to really work. And, maybe that's why he decided to do this. It's because he knew that this was kind of going to be it as far as him having the chance to be a star. And he might as well just leave it all out there, I guess. But, You're right. Marcus Mariota has never been the most interesting man in football. No, he's not.
I don't think Ryan Tannehill is that interesting, but I would much rather see Ryan Tannehill than Marcus Mariota, who, again, is a wonderful human being.
He certainly is.
He's just not – there's just nothing compelling about him.
Ryan Tannehill strikes me to be much more like a Kirk Cousins kind of guy.
That I would like to know. I don't know that. I'd like to know.
We don't know that.
Like, I didn't know that's how Kirk – like, honestly, we did our top 10, and
Sure.
we'll do our top 10 again
Sure.
every week this year.
Mm-hmm.
You knew, what did I say? The next big game he wins is going to be the first big game he wins because the minute the lights get bright and the stage gets big, it seems like Kirk shrinks. But I will say this, I did gain a level of respect for him. Like, I get it. I don't get that he's made like $250 million in the NFL as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's never won anything but one playoff game.
Listen.
But you see behind the scenes now, he gets it, man. He works his butt off, man. Yeah. He is all in behind the scenes.
Sure. No, he goes in there and does what he needs to do to at least prepare. Now, what happens when you actually get in the moment is something completely different, but he was fully ready for whatever moment was put in front of him there.
I'm going to give it a big thumbs up. Quarterback on Netflix. I'll give it a big thumbs up. I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm gonna see it out now.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like it. I'm going to watch it all the way through.
The Patrick Mahomes extra workouts, too.
Yes.
Was very interesting.
Yes. So Mahomes and Cousins, for me, it's worth it. All right, we'll take our final break, come back, and wrap up Tuesday's edition of the Mcfarland Show next.
Jones Z Electric is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day will never go unnoticed. Visit DAV.org to see how you can donate to our disabled veterans and make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Jones Z Electric. For all of your electrical needs in Nashville, don't call the rest, call the best at 931-308-3636. That's 931-308-3636. Jones Z Electric. They're professionals who care.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-898-6155 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call this for your free quick quote today. 800-898-6155. That's 800-898-6155. What do you have to lose? Call 800-898-6155. Again, 800-898-6155.
Green Line Landscaping is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day will never go unnoticed. Visit DAV.org to see how you can donate to our disabled veterans and make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Green Line Landscaping. For residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping, call the specialist today at 615-710-7067. That's 615-710-7067. Green Line Landscaping. They're professionals who care.
It's the Mcfarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Okay, let's bring in Butch Spearden, who's the president and CEO of Nashville Visitors Corporation. He joins the show. Butch, how impactful was the Taylor Swift concert for Nashville?
Saturday alone was worth $14.8 million just in hotel spent. One day in the city, just in Davidson County, $14.8 million.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Okay, we've been telling you for like an hour bad stuff was coming. It's here.
It's here. Could end up getting, according to at least one estimation I saw, quite a bit of rain, a few inches of rain by the time the storm system fully moves through. There is lightning, there is high wind, and the sky is looking rather scary, I admit. But so far, there's been no tornado warnings issued out there. There may be a severe thunderstorm warning out there or two, but, some high winds. You may have to go find your trash can after this is over, but hopefully that's the worst of it.
So just be cognizant of that. Probably a lot of you are already experiencing this, so we're not telling you anything you don't know, but just wanted to let you know that it's pretty scary outside right now. So I don't know how long this is going to last. By the way, they're showing shots. They've gone, looks like the local stations, or at least some have gone to full-blown weather. They're showing downtown, and you barely can see a building downtown. It's so rainy and gray. And so.
Yeah. No, it's heavy and ugly right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody remains safe. I know we're about to hit the rush hour. Just take some extra time, everybody. Settle in. Don't get impatient. And just know everybody's trying to do the best they can to get home. Everybody is.
Braves baseball tonight on these airwaves. 6:05 pregame, 6:20 first pitch. Braves hosting the D-backs. So Arizona in Atlanta. Of course, Arizona, one of those surprise teams. Much better than we all thought. 52-42 on the season. Of course, the Braves are 30 games over 500, which is amazing, as teams are now getting close to that 100-game mark.
Yeah.
Which, is pretty significant. That's you're well past the midway point. The All-Star weekend is here. So now you start getting to that, that second half stretch run where teams are going to ramp it up.
Yeah.
Or they're going to fall the wayside.
But we're going to find out what we're made of here, everybody.
That's right. SEC Media Days tomorrow. The schools will be Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky. So Mark Stoops, Billy Napier, Sam Pittman, Nick Saban in the house.
Wow.
And are they supposed to have an outdoor concert tonight? Is that right?
Yes, they are. Midland was supposed to be performing on Lower Broadway.
Ooh, yeah.
They may need a boat.
Take a poncho.
Just be careful, everybody. I'm sure they'll be careful. There's lots of experience down there. Just know the thunderstorms are real, and hopefully they can blow out of here in a few hours without anybody getting hurt.
Yeah. So if you're going to be on the roads, again, drive safe. That is going to do it for us today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Enjoy it. We want you back with us tomorrow starting at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.